Okay, let's talk about something really important in construction safety. All those hidden dangers that can lead to big problems. The thing is, there's a simple tool out there that's a total game changer, helping crews see risks they were walking right past before.
So let me just start with this question. What if I told you that we're missing more than half the dangers on a typical job site? It's a pretty startling thought, right? And it gets right to the core of why traditional safety checks just aren't cutting it anymore.
I mean, look at this number. Research has shown that the old way of doing hazard assessments only catches about 45% of the actual risks. That means there's this massive 55% gap in our safety net. We're essentially working blind to over half the danger. And here's the real kicker. Most of the really serious injuries, they don't happen because of some crazy one-off event. Nope. They happen during completely routine, everyday work, all because of hazardous energy sources that are hiding in plain sight. So what's the solution? Well, it's this thing right here, the energy wheel. It's a brilliantly simple tool designed to give crews a whole new way of looking at their work site to spot those hidden risks before they can cause any harm. So what is it exactly? Well, you can think of the energy wheel as a visual guide to 10 different kinds of hazardous energy. It shifts your whole mindset. Instead of just spotting a symptom, like a puddle on the floor, it forces you to think about the underlying energy that could cause a problem. It's all about predicting, not just reacting. All right, let's quickly break down what these 10 energy sources are. You're going to see how they pretty much cover every single situation you could run into on a job site. First up, you've got some of the more obvious ones. Gravity. That's anything that can fall, right? A dropped wrench, a worker falling from a ladder. Then there's motion. Think moving trucks, swinging cranes, that kind of thing. And mechanical. That's all about rotating parts, pinch points, anything on a machine that can grab you. Next, we have electrical, which, isn't just about live wires, but also static electricity. Then there's chemical, which covers the whole range, flammables, toxic stuff, you name it. And pressure. This one is huge. We're talking compressed air hoses, hydraulic lines, anything that's holding back a lot of force. And to round it out, the final four. Temperature, that's both hot and cold hazards, like a hot engine block or working in freezing weather. Noise, from loud equipment. Radioactive might sound a little scary, but really it's things we see all the time, like UV radiation from welding or even just the sun. And finally, biological. This could be anything from mold to insect bites. Okay, so it sounds great in theory, but the big question is, does this new way of seeing things actually work out in the real world? Well, the data is in, and the answer is a big, resounding yes. So just remember where we started. The old way, we were only identifying about 45% of the hazards. Not great. But get this, when teams are trained to use the energy wheel, their hazard recognition rate jumps by an additional 30%. That's a huge improvement. You do the math, and that brings the new total up to 75%. Think about that. That is the difference between seeing less than half the risks on your site and seeing the vast majority of them. It's a massive leap forward. This quote really says it all. Using this tool, and using it right, gives you a measurable, significant boost in safety awareness. And that's what directly prevents people from getting hurt. So at this point, you're probably thinking, okay, I'm sold. This is fantastic. But how do I actually start using it on my site? Well, the good news is there's a really clear, proven path to get this going on your projects. It really just boils down to a simple 4-step process. You've got to train your leaders, empower the whole team, make the wheel visible everywhere, and then use it every single day. Step 1, it all starts at the top. Your leaders, your supervisors, they need to take the Leadership for Safety Excellence course from the SCSA. This gives them that deep understanding they need to really champion this change. Next up, those leaders who just got trained, they need to become the teachers. They take what they've learned and they train their own crews. This is so critical because it creates ownership right there on the front line, where it really, really matters. Okay, step 3 is all about visibility. The tool is useless if it's out of sight, out of mind. So hang posters in the lunchroom, put it up on the safety boards, slap stickers on hard hats and toolboxes. The more people see it, the more they're going to think about it and use it. And finally, step 4, you have to make it a daily habit. It has to become part of the routine. Talk about it in your toolbox talks. Make it a non-negotiable part of your job hazard analyses and your field-level hazard assessments. This is how you turn a really good idea into a life-saving practice. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. By using this framework, these 10 sources of energy, you're basically giving your team a new set of eyes to see your worksite. So the real question isn't if you'll see a new risk, it's what hidden hazard will you finally see tomorrow?